Most people are having an identity problem, an identity crisis, and don't even know it. All right, so today we're going to be talking about that. I call it the double life phenomenon. And we're going to be breaking down what incongruency means. All right. Listen, if you're somebody that loves personal development, law of attraction, and all things in between, you're going to love this channel. You're going to love this video. So make sure to watch it to the very end so you catch all of the gems. All right, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, or don't. All right. But listen, y'all, today we're going to be talking about the double life phenomenon. Okay, and this is a problem that a lot of people don't even know that they have, but it's something that's ruining their ability to progress towards their goals and the fulfillment of their vision. All right, now let's dive into, because the double life phenomenon is all based on the concept of incongruency. Okay, the concept of incongruency. Okay, and incongruency, let's define incongruency. Incongruency is the state of being unsuitable, inconsistent, or incompatible, where elements do not fit well together. The state of being unsuitable, inconsistent, or incompatible, where elements do not fit well together. What does this mean, and why is this important? Because the problem is that most people are not being who is required, okay? And they're unsuitable. The way that they're behaving, their actions, their current identity is unsuitable for the fulfillment of their vision and the achievement of their goals. Like right now, you're unqualified. Like right now, you're unqualified. Like you are not the version of yourself that is required for the fulfillment of what it is that you feel like you want. Okay? Unsuitable, inconsistent, incompatible. Right? That's what incongruent is. Okay? Incongruency, and it's not all about like what you say. It's not all about what you believe. It's what you actually do. Okay? Because your doingness is a representation of your beingness, who you are, your identity, what you represent. Okay? Now, the problem is that you think you're this version of yourself, right? But you're really not, because when the opportunities present themselves, you don't show up. Okay? When the opportunity to be disciplined presents itself, you don't always show up. When the opportunity to be consistent presents itself, you don't always show up. Okay? When these opportunities are presented, the opportunities for you to be congruent with the version of yourself that is required, you don't always show up. Okay? And that's incongruent. That's the double life. The double life is having this projection, this mental projection that you are this version of yourself that you claim to be, that you may show up to the public, right? But in reality, in private, you may not be that version of yourself, right? So the key concepts in psychology when it comes to ourselves is the actual self, who we are, the ideal self, who we want to be, and ought self, who you think you should be. Okay? And then there's other different selves as well, right? But ultimately, you project this version of yourself to the world, to the people that are in your life, to your environment. But internally, based on your thoughts, based on your behaviors when nobody's watching, based on your actions, based on your habits, you're not really congruent with that guy. You're not really congruent. Okay? And this is why congruency is important. But here's the thing. Clarity and congruency are one, because you can't have congruency if you're not clear. Okay? So you have to be clear on the ideal self first. In order to be congruent with something, you have to be clear on what that something is. In order to be congruent with something, you have to be clear on what that something is. Okay? And a lot of people are not clear on what their ideal self is. What is the requirements of that ideal self? What are the principles? What are the standards? Okay? You don't become who you say you are. You become who you repeatedly prove you are. You don't become who you say you are. You become who you repeatedly prove you are. Listen, every day the rent is due. The rent is due every day for the version of yourself that is required. Rent is due every day. You have to pay rent. Whatever is required. If it's required for you to be disciplined, if it's required for you to wake up at a certain time, if it's required for you to complete these certain tasks, if it's required for you to hit the gym, if it's required to check on the people that you love, all of these different things, if it's required, the rent is due. And when I say rent is due, it's not financial, right? But it's the rent that's due with you living in alignment and congruent with that version of yourself. Every day you have to pay the rent. Every day there is requirements that must be attended to. Okay? And when you fail to live in alignment and congruent with the requirements, man, self-betrayal. Self-betrayal, man. And self-betrayal is one of the greatest acts of sin you can commit to yourself, man, because it affects everything. It affects your foundation of just who you are and your trust with yourself, your confidence, your belief, just your relationship with yourself. And we all know the greatest relationship that we'll ever have in life, or the most important one, is the one with yourself, man. It's the one with yourself. All right? So this is why it's important to also be great in private. Not just public. Like, you gotta be great in private, y'all. Like, you gotta show up. Like, even when nobody's watching, because majority of our life is usually when nobody's watching. So if you can't be great, if you can't live in alignment with the identity, even when nobody's watching, man, then how do you expect to be great in public if you can't be great in private? Right? And man, the double life phenomenon is another problem the double life phenomenon can cause is a lack of clarity, right? Because as long as you continue to live the double life, it's a slow poison of identity loss. It's a slow poison of identity loss, because when you're living the double life and you are sometimes making the decisions and actions that are in alignment with the old life, the life that you're trying to grow from, but you're still living in alignment with it, then you start to lose the identity of the ideal life, the ideal self. It's a process of identity loss. And this is what happens when people get stuck. They have a lack of clarity. They don't know what they want because they went through identity loss. Oh man, I know that guy. He's been suffering from identity loss. He needs to get help. He needs to watch MJ the Mastermind's videos. Right? So, only way we can fix incongruency is by closing the gap, y'all. And Stop living the double life, guys. Identify who you need to become and be that person. Forget about the old self, because the old self is no longer required. It got us to where we are now, but it won't get us to where we're trying to go. Much love, everybody. Peace, love, and abundance. Until the next one.